Hi guys, my name is Christine, and today I'm talking about positive thinking and affirmations are not enough to succeed. So, you hear a lot today, especially in the self-help world and sometimes like the new age sort of world, about positive thinking and affirmations and how these things can transform your life and help you succeed. The problem that I personally have with that sort of thing is it kind of gives across a message that you can get something for nothing. All you have to do is chill out and be happy, and things will, work out fine. And you don't need to worry, basically. And it's all about the mind, right? And to be fair, the mind is really important because, when you are trying to succeed, a lot of it is mind over matter, but in a different sort of way. So affirmations are good as long as you are, backing that up with effort and hard work. And the same goes for, positive thinking. Like, it's good to be optimistic. It's good to think positively, because if you're feeling negative, you're going to be in a lousy mood and you're probably not going to want to do anything to achieve your goals and to succeed at your goals. So being optimistic and happy is obviously really good, and it is important and is a good key component. But when it comes to success, positive thinking and affirmations just simply aren't enough. So I'm going to go into a few things, and basically if you start applying these things, then you should start to see a lot more results in your life, a lot more success in your life. However, what you got to remember is that this is a long process, right? It's not something that's going to happen overnight. Now, I'm not saying like that kind of stuff never happens. Sometimes people can have overnight success. You often see that sort of thing when a nobody, like a regular person, shall we say, goes on to like a reality TV show. Suddenly they get overnight success because they've been on a TV show, right? So that sort of stuff does happen. But depending on what you're kind of looking for, like if you are hoping to have a successful business, if you are hoping to be a successful, let's say like maybe a musician or something like that, or perhaps you want to become the best in your field in a certain area, let's say like you want to become one of the best psychologists in the world, or something like that, something that clearly takes a lot of work and effort to get through. Like, for example, people that want to become doctors, that takes years and years of practice and of studying. It's not an overnight thing. People can't become overnight doctors. So obviously it depends on what you are personally looking for, what you are personally trying to build here. But, usually, typically, overnight successes aren't a real thing. It takes a lot of patience and a lot of effort in order to be an overnight success, right? It takes 10 years to become an overnight success. That's a quote I use a lot on this channel. I don't know exactly the origin of it, but it's a good quote and I think it rings true. It took me 10 years to become an overnight success. That's a good saying. That's something that where you've got to remind yourself. Something I heard from Tony Robbins is, people overestimate what they can achieve in a year, but they underestimate what they can achieve in a decade. People are thinking, like, oh, I'm going to look really fit and healthy in 1 year, which is possible. But, a year I don't think is quite enough to get rid of some of those old habits that perhaps were making you unhealthy, And it's the same thing, like, oh, I'm going to have a multi-million-dollar business within a year. It's unrealistic. It's probably not going to happen like that. And it's probably not going to be as smooth sailing as you think. So what are these other things that you can use then? What are some things that are more effective than just positive thinking and affirmations? Which, again, are good tools, but they're not enough. So one of those things is visualization. Now, visualization, again, is one of those things that is not just on its own going to work for you. But what's great about visualization is that if you visualize the end result, if you visualize certain things, it's more likely to go in the way that you visualized. So this is something that I've personally been practicing in my own life. Like, for example, before I make a video, I visualize myself doing it really well, being clear, that sort of thing. And, often when I visualize that, I tend to do a lot better and I perform a lot better in videos, because this sort of thing isn't actually very natural to me at all. When I was a kid, and I'm a little bit better now, but I am naturally an introvert. I'm not great at being extroverted, putting myself out there, speaking, public speaking, that sort of thing. This was a huge weakness of mine. So visualization and seeing myself do well in these kinds of situations makes me less nervous, makes me less yeah, just makes me perform better, right? And I've experimented with this sort of thing in other areas as well. For example, we hear a lot now about like having, like cold ice baths and things like that, and getting used to being in cold water, like the Wim Hof. It's a huge thing going on right now. A lot of people are into that sort of thing. And one of the things that I do is like I visualize myself getting in a really, really cold, ice cold shower. And, it's something that I used to really struggle with, and it's something that I find really uncomfortable, because obviously you're putting yourself in cold water. But when I visualize myself being calm and collected while I'm under that freezing cold shower, I do better when I do have a cold shower. Like before I get in the shower, I visualize myself being relaxed, and, being able to take the cold basically. And whenever I do that, it tends to happen. I do that a lot better. So that's another thing as well. I won't show you it, but there is a technique that also I learned from Tony Robbins. I think it was in his Time of Your Life program, because Tony Robbins has made like a few like motivational CDs and things like that, a few like audio programs, and basically he made these because he knew that this is the reason why anyway, but obviously if you want to go to a Tony Robbins seminar, it costs like thousands and thousands of pounds usually, right? But so to make his coaching more affordable, he made books, and he also made like these motivational audio CDs programs, and one of them was called Time of Your Life. And in Time of Your Life, he goes for an exercise to show you how you can visualize better. And when you visualize, you do better. So basically what he did in this this audio program was he got you to like physically put your arm out in front of you, like as far as it can go, and then he explains to you to twist your body around and go as far as you believe your body can go. And then in this visualization, he tells you to close your eyes and then visualize yourself going way further around, like doing this, more than you've ever been before. Like, so what I did when I first did this program, I imagined that I was an owl, right? And I just twisted all the way around and round and round and round around my body. And the next time, in the program, he says, right, now twist and see how far you can go. And I was able to go much further than I'd ever done before. Hopefully I explained that well. So test that out on yourself. First just point your finger out and then twist as far as you can go. And then visualize yourself going, wrapping yourself all the way around yourself and basically going, doing like an owl sort of movement where you're just twisting all the way. And then when you do that exercise again, you should be able to go further than you've ever gone before. And it's all because you visualized it, right? It wasn't so much. You already had that within you to do that, basically. But when you visualize it and you focus on it in that sort of way, it makes you perform so much better. So if you visualize yourself doing a stellar performance on stage, if you're like, an actor or something, you're going to do much better. If you visualize, performing really well at a sport, like let's say you play basketball and you just visualize yourself, getting the ball through the hoop and stuff like that, it's more likely that you're going to do it because you've visualized it. So it's actually a really scientific thing, and it does really help with that sort of thing. But again, it's not the only thing you should use. Like there's other things that you can do. So one of the best ways, I think, to become better in general is to fill in your knowledge gaps. So we're moving on from visualization now, and we're talking about filling in your knowledge gaps. So if you want to become the best at something, or you want to become one of the top people in that field, for whatever thing it is, right, then you have to find out what you don't know. So let's say, one of my most popular channel is my dating and relationship channel, which is more focused on my, relationship and dating business. And basically, I tell people in that thing, like if you suck on that channel, I tell people, like, if you are not really good at approaching people that you find interesting, then you need to fill in your knowledge gap and find out how you can do that, how you can become more confident in approaching people, right? Or let's say you don't really understand the opposite sex, you don't understand their psychology. If you don't understand their psychology, then pick up Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus. That book is a great way to show you how the difference between the two sexes, between men and women, right? Or the masculine and feminine, if you prefer it described in that sort of way, right? So, fill in your knowledge gaps. What are you not good at, but what is also essential for you to know, right? So let's say you are really, I don't know, let's say you're like me and you're really introverted, right? And you're naturally introverted, you're not good at talking to people, and you're not good at starting conversations and making friends or something like that, then that's where you got to learn. Like, you got to figure out what you're not good at and what is essential for you to know in order to improve, and fill in those knowledge gaps so you can become a more well-rounded person in when it comes to your field. And stuff like that, okay? So fill in your knowledge gaps. So another thing that I don't think is discussed enough, and it's something that is a little bit more edgy, a little bit more dark, and sometimes if you want to motivate yourself to become successful, sometimes you need to tap into the darker side of yourself, and you need to find the rage in order to propel you forward. Because sometimes, we can have like the best intentions, but sometimes it's not enough to motivate ourselves. Sometimes we need to go to the dark side, shall we say, right? And channel inner rage. Like, it could be like, the reason I'm doing this, today, is because I want to prove someone wrong. Like, I know I'm better than what I could be. And perhaps you were bullied at school and you want to show the bullies, that you're, better now than them, or something like that. But it's all about, finding out what really kind of motivates you. Perhaps you've got a bad relationship with a parent or something, and you want to prove them wrong. Or it could be a friend that decided they didn't want to be friends with you anymore, and you want to make them feel regret that they weren't your friend anymore. Or it could be you got dumped and you want to make them regret dumping you. Sometimes channeling that, when you're using it in the right way, can really help you motivate yourself to succeed and to push you forward, especially on those days when you don't feel like doing anything, when you know you really need to do something, right? You really need to do your to-do list, whatever it may be. But like I said, as long as you are doing it in such a way that it's not harming anyone else, it's not like you're bullying them or, doing something like that. All it means is that it's like an internal battle with yourself. You're using it internally to propel you forward. It doesn't mean that you're going to really shove it down someone's face one day and you're going to have a full-out argument with them, or you're going to try and hurt someone's feelings. It's not about that. It's about making you become better, right? And you can use that as long as it's in control, right? So the last thing that I want to talk about, which I think can really help you succeed and become better, which, you don't really hear too much about when it comes to positive thinking and affirmations, is to just simply do, what you need to do, whether you feel like it or not, right? So sometimes, sometimes you just have to have a word with yourself. Sometimes you need to go to the mirror and say to yourself, look, we've got all this stuff to do today. We need to do it. Let's just get it done, because I'm going to feel so much better when I do get it done. Because that's the point, right? When people come to my channel, this channel specifically, they want to motivate themselves. They probably have like some sort of business, or they have a YouTube channel or a blog, or they want to become successful in some sort of area. And basically, what we all want is we want to be able to do the things that we know we need to do, whether we feel like it or not. Okay? And, sometimes we just have to force ourselves to do it. It may be the case that you have a bad day, perhaps you don't perform as well, but if you visualize performing really well, you're more likely to perform well, but it's all about just doing it, right? It's like the slogan from Nike or Nike, I don't know how people say that word, but sometimes you just have to do it. Sometimes you just have to hit the grindstone, basically, okay? But if you use all of these 4 things and, start implementing them in your life, they're going to take you so much more further than just simple positive thinking and affirmations. And again, positive thinking and affirmations are good, but you shouldn't be just relying on them. You shouldn't be just listening to some sort of like hypnosis or subliminal messaging, hoping that somehow that's going to change your behavior. Sometimes you have to do other things as well in order to do that. And I think these 4 things, and having these kind of mindsets and this sort of mindset, will really help with that sort of thing. So thank you so much for watching, and if you'd like to get in touch with me personally, then please go to www.christineloveridge.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye, guys.